What it is, what it do. You tuned into the Jose Morales podcast. I'm your host, Jose Morales, and we are back in the ring with another killer episode. This week, I have another special guest. I brought my brother Ruben Ambriz back on. And those that remember him, he was on with me on season 1. I believe he's one of the first ones I brought on where we actually talked about being raised by single mothers.
Yeah.
If you have not heard that episode, I would recommend you to listen to it. It kind of help you get more familiar with him and I and our story and how we kind of connected, just to give you a little bit more of a background on him and on us as our friendship. This episode, we're going to be talking about generation curses,
generational curses,
things that get passed down from
hereditary characteristics,
from our families, from our grandparents, from our parents. And we talk about this a lot. I hang out with them often. And when I talk to him, I'm like, wow, I actually been wanting to do this episode for a long time. And I almost did it alone. And then this past week when we were together, I was like, it's only going to be good if I have you on, because you bring so much of good knowledge and things you hit different that are going to be very beneficial, and just people are going to be able to take it in different than the way that I would say it.
Well, thanks, brother.
So I'm glad, and thank you for coming on again, brother. You're always down. Like I said, when we talk, he always shares all these great things with me, and I feel like I would be stealing this, or I'll feel selfish if I did not share this with you guys. So this is the reason why I wanted to bring him on, and this is the reason why I wanted to talk about these things. These things here help me personally overcome a lot of things about myself that I did not know prior to meeting my dad or talking to my dad, because I never met him. So I'm going to get into that. I'm going to also get into how he overcame. And first, before you overcome these things, I think you first need to identify these things.
Yes.
And that right there in itself is a process. So first, let's talk about it. What exactly is generation curses? What exactly is that? Can you give us a lowdown exactly what it is to you? And you?
Well, first and foremost, I'm no expert in this, okay?
Yeah, neither are we.
I'm only gonna tell you my personal experience.
And neither of us are, because I'm not either.
Yeah, exactly.
And I just know that this helped me tremendously. And I know, and another thing that I want to say, well, Tita, my Ruben in 5 years ago to the Ruben I see now, and Ruben and Elena, his wife, 4 years ago to the Ruben and Elena I know now, changed so much for the good. Like they just, and it's not that they changed, it's that they evolved so much. And this evolved that I saw them do during these times, and I saw him do as a person, came from, I think, from what I see and from the conversations I've had with him, is these things that he grew from. He identified these generational curses, and then he tackled them, or he tried to change them, or he tried to educate his family, his friends, his close people in his circle. And he started trying to share this with them because he saw how much it changed him. And you wanted to share the same knowledge with us. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Because he changed. Do you think you changed, or am I tripping? Because I think you changed
100%. 100%. I feel the change.
Yeah.
And it's an ongoing thing. I mean, I'm not the same person as I was when I was 5, when I was 10, when I was 19, when I was 28. No. This is an ever-going evolution, and I like it. That's the way I think a lot of people probably want to see things, is evolve from their previous life or their previous lifestyle. And it's a beautiful thing, man, because along the way you do get a lot of things that feel like they can defeat you, like those family curses. But then you find out that, first of all, we're not making this up. You can look at the past of humans, and this thing has been around for millennia.
Yeah.
So we're not alone, right? And if you look around, not everything is like the Full House episodes, where it's just, oh, here, let me talk to you at the end after 30 minutes and it's all good. No, it's not that easy. But over time, it does get easier. And it has changed me, man. It has changed me. I feel better. I'm happier for longer periods of time.
Yeah.
It's easy for me to find the beauty in the most simple things. I mean, you've seen it. I'll play with kids. I love the outdoors. And I don't necessarily need to be a millionaire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I learned to basically tap in to happiness, to fulfillment, to grace, and it's been working out for me, man. And it hasn't been easy. I mean,
it shows though. It shows that it's working out just because your energy. You have such good energy. You just so genuine. You, your daughter, your wife. It's just you three together. I could just feel good vibes. I tell Oli all the time. I'm like, man, I just love when they're around. They're so. It's contagious how happy you are and how you see the beautiful and everything. It's amazing.
Thanks, brother.
So how do we get to do that? How do we get to see the beauty in everything? How did you overcome that? Because you weren't like that. Like I said, 5 years ago, it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
What was the growth for you that helped you? What did you see? Talk to us about that.
Okay, well, let's go way back, just like most stories. It all started when I was 5.
Nah.
So no, it all started when I was in my mom, right? And I'm not saying that just because I remember. No, it's actually a scientific fact. Y'all can look that up, whatever. But bottom line, it started when I was in my mom, and maybe even before that. I don't know. Maybe you want to look into that. But my mom, she didn't quite have a good relationship with my father. She actually fled from him. And she had a beef with like his mom and so forth. So she's holding that energy, getting away from the messed up stuff that she lived in her early childhood. She was already a single mother, or excuse me, a single baby mama.
Yeah.
Is that what you call it? And then she had me on the way. So she had all this kind of like just baggage on her. In the meantime, I'm picking up all the signals as a fetus or as a baby in her belly. And that's kind of being downloaded by the baby over and over and over again while she's doing all this stuff and while she's living all these, you can call it trauma.
Traumas.
And then after that, she has me, then guess what? There's no dad. Oh, what does that mean? What does society think about that? Okay, it's not a good thing. So you live through that. And then on top of that, we live with my grandma, which also carries a lot of baggage or generational curses.
Yeah.
And she passes that on to you. She has certain characteristics that she passes on to you. And not just me, all my siblings, everybody who was in the household. So the whole household has a specific karma or generational curse, whatever you want to call it. And that's what you grow up in. So inside of that household, the characteristics that we started to absorb as little kids were things like men are horrible people. Men are alcoholics. What else? The rich get richer, the poor get poorer.
Yeah. These are all instilled in you.
Yes. Make sure you eat everything off your plate because there's not enough food. And it goes on and on and on. All these programs, the kids are absorbing it over and over and over again on a daily basis. And then by the time I hit my teen years, I'm like, you get all these upgrades of hormones and you're growing up and you're like, shit, I'm gonna be like this because I listened to some rap music and it was all about this and it was all about that. And yeah, that feels right. So then you go and you test the waters and you see if you can get away with some of this really just shiesty shit that you picked up that you thought, oh, that's how it works because it resonates with how I grew up. Nope, that shit didn't work at all. So then I wake up and I'm like, why the fuck am I always so unhappy? Why am I always, and then it turned into depression. Why the fuck am I always like almost depressed? I can't even enjoy things around me that are beautiful. I can't even dance. I can't even laugh for too long because I suppress it. Where did that happen? How did it happen? So I started learning, okay, let me know what the hell this body is, first of all. What does this body have? Okay, mainly a brain and a heart, right? Those two things are probably the most important organs, the brain and the heart. So that's when I started looking into what exactly is the brain and the heart. And it turns out it's nothing but a processing machine. And that's why we absorbed what we did in our environment, especially as little kids. Little kids are a sponge.
Yeah.
You've seen this with your own kids. They'll copy you. They'll copy their mom. They'll copy their siblings. That's what we do. We copy. We copy and paste, copy and paste. And so after that, I was like, man, I really don't want to feel like this. I need to find out if there's some way to reverse all this and be on a different vibe, because that shit's just not working. I looked around broken families. I looked around too many baby mamas. I looked around people trying to join gangs. I looked around people abusing alcohol. I looked around people smoking way too much weed. It was fucked, man. It was, and all these people, also another thing that we absorb a lot is anxiety. People don't know how to deal with anxiety, man. They don't even know when it comes. They can't even detect it because they're so numb to it. So I'm like, man, that shit is not right.
And that's when you started looking.
That's when I started looking into it, and then I realized it just wasn't clicking with me. I didn't want it to be a part of me, and I didn't want to really pass that on.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even feel like I have a family. I'm like, this is a family? But yeah, once I started really researching.
How did you get into the researching that?
Well, it was because nobody could teach it, or not nobody could teach it, but nobody was a teacher, really. Mm-hmm. I mean, you could learn some stuff from parents and from those around you, or, your big cousin who's into rap music and smoking weed, but I really didn't see that as a success thing. Yeah. So I was like, man, I gotta find.
So you started finding out why you had these thoughts, why you were, you had anxiety and all this.
Yes,
and
yes.
What did you find out?
Well, I found out, first of all, that the brain is a processing machine, right? The whole body is really, and the power of the human heart. So to me, all that just became really interesting. I got into fitness. I realized, that there's chemical signatures for not just the way you think and the way you feel and the emotional states you're in, but even the way you walk, even the way you hold posture. You probably know this. You've probably seen it in boxing. And all that really intrigued me, man. Because then I was like, well, this is a perfect path to try to upgrade myself. Because if I'm walking lousy, then maybe I can walk like a really confident,
It's crazy that you say that, because I can tell somebody that's confident when they walk in, without even talking to them, versus somebody that's not confident when they walk in.
Yeah.
Just the way they walk, they carry themselves, the way they look, the way they're just confident. You know what I'm saying? So you're 100% on the money with that. Yeah. You could definitely see it. So you started looking into it, and what came to the conclusion that you knew a lot of this was getting passed down from the traumas.
From traumas.
How did you come to the conclusion that it was from traumas?
Well, first of all, I realized that it was in me.
Yeah.
And I delved deep. Like I started doing mental fitness. I started doing emotional well-being. I started doing spiritual work. I started doing physical fitness.
Yeah.
All that stuff. So I just included all that, and I said, that's gonna be my attention point. Because at least all those things are affordable. I can do push-ups in my house. I can do meditation in my house. I can do...
Costs nothing.
It costs nothing. It's free. I can do breath work that changes my internal chemistry for free. I just have to go find the information. And luckily we live in a time where,
information's there.
it's always there.
In your hand.
And people are willing to give it to you.
Yep.
For free. So that's why I got in there. I was like, okay, it's time to upgrade this, man.
Because another thing that changed about you too is you went vegan.
Well, okay, so that's kind of a misconception.
You went vegetarian.
Yes.
No, Elena went vegan.
Elena is closer to vegan, but
there was a time when you guys were like, nah, I don't eat nothing.
She's vegetarian.
Meat.
No.
So you guys are both vegetarian.
So here's the thing.
I know is you guys are picky with your food.
Vegan. Vegan means you don't touch animal products.
Anything animal. Yes.
So we eat eggs, right? We have my brother from.
He got defensive.
Hold up. From Placerville. He has chicken eggs. You know the real free roam organic ones. So we eat animal products, and me, I'm never gonna give up honey. I love honey. All right. So all that is animal products.
All I'm saying is that changed too. That was part of the thing because you weren't like that before.
Yeah. The only reason it changed was because I noticed that eating meat versus not eating meat changed my chemical state from in the inside to make me feel lighter, happier.
Yeah.
More energetic.
I can agree with that.
That is the only reason I did it. I didn't do it to save the planet. I didn't do it to save the animals.
Oh, so you don't care about animals?
I love animals, but I don't really care about them like that. I care more about this life that I'm inside. That's what I care about. That's my priority. And I tell my little girl and Elena too, that should be your priority too. That should be at the very top. Because if you don't have that,
nothing else is point.
You can't experience anything. What's the point of having anything else if you can't take care of this? And I wouldn't know because I had a mother who didn't know how to take care of those things, and illness came, and it started shutting her body down, and it eventually took her out. So I know a little bit of something why it's important to take care of your body mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. And as soon as I seen those things, the research backs it up like crazy. If you eat more vegetables than the other stuff, you're winning. But that's the only reason I did it, because I could now control more of my internal states. I could control more my mood. I can control more my meditations. I could control more my physical attributes. Inflammation goes down. That's the only reason I did it. That's the only reason I eat the way I do. And because nowadays, everybody has such delicious recipes that I don't really miss meat.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to the family curses, man. So that one actually wiped out the family curse of thinking that food is scarce. Is that the word, scarce?
Yeah.
That one eliminated that curse. Going towards vegetarian, 90% vegetarian, because every now and then I'll eat seafood, but very rarely. But anyways, that eliminated that, so that was nice as a byproduct. I wasn't even trying to, but it just eliminated, the whole eating pattern.
Yeah.
Now I'm into intermittent fasting. Again, I do it because I have more control over this, and it makes me feel good. Everything I do is really just to feel good. So it's kind of selfish, but the byproduct of me being selfish in that way allows for me to be a better person to friends and family, to strangers, to people who I work with, to my daughter who tests me really, really hard. I mean, God gave her to me in a specific way, and it tests me, man. And if I don't take care of this, me and her relationship could be really, really different. It could be a bad one. But
you noticed that.
But yeah, man, I noticed all
with your mother becoming ill and all that. Do you think that helped you focus on that more, or do you think if she would have never became ill, you would have still done this?
It definitely played a part. It played a part because then I started thinking, should I have done this path sooner? Mm-hmm. And could I have potentially saved her in a way?
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that I get from it. But it wasn't like, oh my gosh, my mom's getting sick. I better
start fixing
me. It was never like that. It was more like I was already depressed at a very early age for years. And I didn't even know what depression was. I didn't even know that I lived with it.
Yeah.
So once I knew that, then that's when the path really started.
One thing for me that was huge, I don't know if I ever shared this with you. Maybe I have. But I hit home for me in so many different ways because I was dealing with a lot of things that I never knew where it was coming from. Mm-hmm. I had similar traumas like you had from the single mom and all that, but I had other things that were passed down from me from my father's side that I never knew because I never met him or knew him. And then when I connected with him and I got to talk to them, and I got to understand his way of life and the person he was and things he did, it kind of put me up on game on what I needed to do to change myself so that I didn't become the person he became. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
So for example, my father was very, very successful when he was young. He was super hardworking. He was a go-getter. He was a hustler. He had a lot of things that me personally, I see a lot of similar traits. He had a couple downfalls though. He loved women, he loved gambling, and he loved alcohol.
Yeah.
So no matter how bad and how good of a worker you are, if you have these three things dragging you down, these three things are eventually gonna catch up to you.
Yeah.
And they're eventually gonna take you out, which is exactly what it did to him. And he passed away because of health issues also at the beginning of the year because of all the things that he dragged on. But the alcohol finished him as far as health-wise. The women and the gambling and all that messed up his personal life as far as his kids, his wife, and all that. And it ruined him in that situation that when he passed away alone. He passed away with nobody, literally nobody.
Yeah.
And when I started seeing these things, I started seeing myself like that. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what if right now I don't change all these things that I'm struggling with that are similar to his struggles? Mm-hmm. And I started preparing myself based off all the things that I saw in my family, from my family traits and family, you know what I'm saying, traumas. Yeah. That's what I noticed that it helped me kind of start thinking of eating better, changing my life as far as eating. I stopped drinking soda. That's the first thing. I have a horrible, I don't know if people know this about me, but my eating is horrible. It's hella bad. You know it. It's super bad. Bit. And I tried little by little changing more and more and more because of that. Mm-hmm. Because I'm trying to change for myself so I can be healthy for myself so then I can eventually be that for my family and my kids. But all that started with getting to know my father, my mom, and all that. And I think in a way, it kind of feels like you're preparing yourself for the future, as weird as that sounds. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You're kind of prepping for a storm that you know it's coming.
Yeah.
And you're prepping for it.
COVID.
You know what I'm saying?
That was a storm.
Yeah. So, 100%. I don't know. That's why I really wanted to talk about this, is because I don't think I would have ever known this if I never would have talked to my dad, and I've never really sat there and talked to my mom and find out all the stuff, all the health things and all the stuff that, not even health related, traumas, like the communication, like how bad is the communication in our family?
Yeah. No, it can be,
you know what I'm saying?
So mute that you'd swear somebody in the family died and you haven't heard.
We don't even know how to talk to each other. And these are all just a lack of education and of knowing. We don't know how to have healthy conversations with people. That's our family though. Other people's families may be a whole lot different. Yeah. And the way everyone's family is different in every way, but that's what I hope to be able to provide to people, is get people familiar with that these things are that, like how you said that the human body is constantly downloading information from when you're inside your mom, you're already getting all these things from her. And even before that, and I think it's important to try to make sure you know what you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
what anything else you have that you would want to add to this as far as tips or as far as getting people familiar with their family, their what's something that helped you kind of discover all that? Like, what's something that you would want to maybe share with everybody else?
Well, I believe we're all kind of born as students, and these teachers come in so many forms. You know, they don't have to be a human form. They could be in a circumstance. They could be in adversity. So don't ever feel like you're singled out, because there's a lot of humans that have lived through some really just horrible stuff, just really bad trauma. And don't ever feel like it's just you. So if you can just start there and realize that you're not the only one going through something, then start looking for the people that resonate with you, that may have gone through similar things, that were able to go beyond their traumas and beat it, and transform their lives for the better, you know? Yeah. So don't ever feel like, because it does feel that way. It's very easy to, when you're depressed, it's very easy to live in your home because it's comfortable. It's very easy to sleep all day. It's comfortable. It's very easy to just tune everything out and be like, this is me.
How do you, so you went over physical, you started working out, push-ups and stuff at home. You went into meditating for your spiritual, your eating. What is another thing that you did that helped you change this stuff? So meditating, what other kind of spiritual work, or what did you do to go through the process to become good with not sleeping all day when you're depressed and not doing this? How did you transition that? What did you do? What else did you do?
Yeah, well, I found out, first of all, that we're basically energy, and it all depends on how you manage that energy. So there's multiple ways to amplify that energy. You can do it through meditation, you can do it through music, you can do it through expressing your own creativity, such as painting or writing a book or even having this podcast. Look into those things. Look into forms of expression that resonate with you so that you can get your body to move. Go out in nature. Going out in nature, like for all the people that are here in Sacramento, go to Tahoe. Go to Tahoe. It's only 2 hours away. Get into the beach, get into the water, feel it, really live it. It'll charge you up, man. It'll give you some energy that you can't get that type of therapy from a shrink or a medical doctor. It blows all that away. That's the real natural therapy that everybody should strive for, and teach their kids to just be around nature, because that's what's giving us life, man. I mean, how long can we go without oxygen if it wasn't for the trees? We drop dead in minutes. So being in tune in nature is a really, really good way to amplify your energy if you're in a funk. Being locked in your house and with all the doors closed and curtains on and just looking at your phone at some random videos that are no good for you, that'll just push you more and more into your own funk, man. Don't do that. Stay away from that. Go out, amplify that energy.
Amplify the energy. I like that. I like that term too. I never thought about just going into the lake or ocean or something just I've never done it in a re-energizing way. I've done it because I'm there kicking it, but I've never done it in an energizing way where you're going to re-energize yourself, give yourself that second.
Yeah, man, give yourself a vacation, a little mini vacation. I love doing it. In the summers when it gets hot enough,
like
I'll take my girls.
Triple digits?
Yeah, I'll take my girls out there to Tahoe.
Yeah, like some of you took them to Tahoe.
Yeah, see? So that's easy. It's like the drive is easy, you're with your family, and you can do it alone too. You don't have to do it with friends and family. If you want to be alone, do it, but get there. Get there, absorb it, really feel what it's like. And if you're afraid of the water, well, make it an exercise. Can I get over this anxiety? can I dip myself in? How much can I really push myself whenever I'm uncomfortable?
Yeah. That kind of relates to the episode with Emma when she talked about just pushing herself beyond uncomfortableness.
Yeah.
And that's how you become that growth that you have, that you grow from. What's something you wish people gain from all this? You sharing this, coming on here and sharing this. What if you get anything from this? What do you number one thing you just want them to get from this episode?
To just find out that everything you've ever done, or at least strived for, to attain, or whatever you put as success, was always for a feeling. It was always for a feeling. You never did it, and it was for a good feeling. You never did it to feel bad. You never did it to feel depressed. Everything we do is to feel better. But feeling better, all it is an internal chemical state. That's all it is. So if you realize that you can actually control that chemistry inside to bliss yourself out, then you win. Do that. That's what I want you guys to take. Realize that you can turn on that. There's a happy button that you can access, that you can turn on, and a bliss button, and there's levels to it, an ecstasy button, a nirvana button, without taking drugs, without taking a vacation, without falling in love, without having sex. Though that chemistry is in there waiting for you, and you can actually attain it. And there's levels to it. You don't need to get it from an outside source. Just know that that's a fact.
That's pretty dope. I definitely haven't triggered that yet. I mean, I haven't captured that. I'm trying to get on your level. I'm not that disciplined with everything as far as like what's the word I'm looking for? The nature stuff. You know what I'm saying? Coming up, I need to get better with that. I would love to. That's like actually one of my personal goals.
Yeah.
Is
well, I'm glad
eating better.
I'm glad I can hear you say that, bro, because I want that for you too.
No, you're my inspiration, man. And I hope
you're
that
my inspiration.
When I change that, hopefully I can inspire more people, because I definitely see it. I mean, it's hard for me to. You guys have never met him or talked to him or don't know him from 10 years ago. You probably be like, oh, he's always been like that. No, I've seen him locked away in his room. Yeah. I seen him not want to come out. I seen him hooked on video games. I seen him like
substances.
That. Yeah, no, I've seen him like that. So see him completely change 360 to this person. I'm like, yo, Ruben, what did you do? And it got me to ask questions, and it's amazing. So this is why I wanted to bring this to you guys. How do you like to start your Mondays, Ruben? This is gonna be aired out on a Monday. How do you like to start off your weeks? What's a good way to get started?
Well, it's more like every day, really. I basically trained my body through meditation. And by the way, there's lots of meditations. There's many, many, many meditations. And by the way, meditation doesn't mean you're just sitting there. It does not. People get it messed up all the time. The people that are meditating and that are really good at it, they're actually working internally. They're doing something internally. It looks on the outside like they could even be sleeping, but on the inside, they're moving chemistry. They're moving energy. They're going through each energy center and tapping into it. And they're turning up the volume on every single energy center. And that's how I start my Mondays. Right after I wake up, I get out of my sleep brain waves, and then I lay there because that's a really good relaxed state to be in. And then I go energy center after energy center after energy center, and I turn up the volume. And then it wakes me up all by myself. And then I have energy to.
How do you do that? How do you turn up the volume on it? Like, what do you do? I'm curious. Man, what's in your head?
So
are you thinking about something? Are you seeing something? Are you like what's lead us through this mind process while you're laying there? Like, what are you doing?
So now we're talking about meditation, okay?
No, I'm curious. Just real quick before we end this. I'm curious of what's in your head.
The reason
I
why
want to turn up the volume on some things, but I want to know how.
The reason why it's not so easy to just lay it out in a really just one-liner is because humans, because we overanalyze things, we make things complicated. Mm-hmm. But it's actually a really, really simple process. So when you learn to buck down the body and be like, "Fool, just close your eyes. You're gonna sit here, and I am the captain of the ship at this very moment. And we're gonna go and hit this energy center, all through the body. And you, even though you wanna get up, you wanna go drink some coffee, you wanna go look on your phone, no. We'll take care of that afterwards. But right now, you pay attention to me.
So you put your daddy voice on. You're telling your body what to do.
I'm telling my body, I'm controlling my body, and I'm telling it what to do. You're gonna be I'm your master, and you're gonna be.
You're my bitch.
Yeah, you're gonna do exactly as I tell you to do at this very moment. I know you wanna get up, I know you wanna look over there, I know you wanna get distracted, I know you got a phone, I know you got a bathroom waiting for you. No, chill out. We'll brush our teeth, blah, 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 blah. All that's coming. Oh. But right now,
I like that.
Right now, you pay attention to
you're
daddy.
Taking control.
Yes, you take control. You take control over this body because most of the time, for people, it's on impulse. It's on habit, it's on repetition, and it's on automatic.
Yeah, for sure.
But at that very moment, I switch it up. I take over the whole system, and all I really do is go from one part of the body to the next, to the next, to the next. And it's all done mainly through feeling. What does the sensation of this energy center feel like? Do I need to, amplify that a little bit more? Or is it trying to tell me something? Then I go to the next one, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one. So that's the layman terms. That's the best way I can explain it. But most people, because they're over analytical.
Did your daughter do this too?
She does breathing techniques, and we do put a lot of her awareness in her body because she does gymnastics.
Yeah.
And because she needs to. So there's
You're introduced
bits,
to her.
Yeah, there's bits and pieces of it that spill over from what I've done to my wife and her. And even if friends and family need I don't know, they're having a long week or something, I'll be like, "Hey, Steven, let's chill out for a second. Let's do a breathing technique. I want you to tap in real quick. And then you tell me what you think. And if you liked it, well then cool. If not, then see you later. See you later." So it's one of those things, man. It's just an exercise.
Cool.
It's just an exercise. And like I said, there's more depth to it, but I also don't want it to sound like it's impossible.
Yeah.
Because it's not.
Yeah.
And if I over analyze it, analysis paralysis. So.
All right. Well, there you have it. You just heard from my man, Gotita Ruben.
Yeah. I'm no expert, but this is my experience.
If someone wants to stay in contact with you or connect with you or follow up with you on this, how can they connect with you?
Oh man, that's a good question because I really kind of a long time ago I detoxed from social media and I don't think I've been on it since. My wife is on it, but if you really need to get a hold of me, get a hold of this guy and then he'll get a hold of me.
That's a good answer.
I don't think I can drop my phone number like that. So.
All right, y'all. Well, hey, Gotita, thank you for sliding through. You always coming through with some heat. Thank you guys for listening. Hope you gained something from this. I hope you find something, an extra motivation to maybe try to get you off the phone at home, depressed, sad, maybe change your eating disorders, maybe change your habits, maybe change your ways. Thank you, Gotita, for coming on.
Yeah, man.
And
thank you for having me.
We out. Deuces.